This is my favorite chapter of the course. Seriously, as a master sommelier and trained chef, pairing is my passion. And when you get it right, it can be amazing. We're gonna have a lot of fun in this chapter of the course, so check it out. Of course, I'm going to teach you a lot about food and wine pairing, but as always, I like to find out, what do you think and what do you want to know?
Well, if I were having salmon, would it be possible to have a red wine with it?
They used to say white with fish and red with meat, and I think that's totally out the window. You know, it's based on, it's hot outside, drink a Pinot Grigio. If you want some meat, drink what you want.
If the chef can create balance with a fish and a Pinot Noir, all the power to him, and it can be done.
Pinot and pork.
Pinot Grigio and prawn tacos.
Yeah, prawn tacos, yeah.
I'm out of a job.
Yeah.
Pinot goes with everything for me.
I think you should order what you like. And if you like a prawn taco with a glass of Pinot, then that's a perfect pairing for you.
You got to have good food, good wine, and good people.
And guess what? Even though I'm a master sommelier, I got to admit, it is not that complicated. There's some basic principles that if you keep them in mind, you're off to the races. I met up with Michael Chiarello, a great chef from right here in Napa Valley and owner of Bottega Ristorante and Napa Style in Yountville, to confirm those basic principles. The first of those is to match body with body, and that's a real biggie.
And one of the things that you always say that I agree with is match weight for weight. A medium-bodied dish with a medium-bodied wine is an easy way to go.
You can also look for wines that I call my fave wines, and I'll explain more about that, but they're wines with great acidity and subtlety so they don't take over the food. Now here's another great tip on pairing: complement and contrast. We all know complement. A big steak and a big red wine, they're perfect because they're both full-bodied and full of flavor. But what about contrast?
I tend to look for contrast. So if I have something that's really rich, I want something that's really bright. Shrimp with a bright wine like this, Ribolla Giallo that I make, I would just love to death because they're yin and yang.
Well, we all love spicy food, and nothing goes better with spicy food than a wine like this Riesling that has a touch of sweetness and great acidity to cut through the salt and the spiciness of something as simple as chips and salsa. Contrast. Trust me, this is awesome. Another easy to remember pairing principle is to pair place with place. So Italian Chianti goes with spaghetti, of course, and this goat cheese from the Loire Valley pairs classically with this Sancerre, which is from the Loire Valley. Perfect. So what about the notion that if the food and wine grew up together, they go together?
I think that makes a lot of sense in areas that have had a cuisine more than 200 years.
Well said.
If you go to Friuli, where this grape is from, the foods and the wines were bred together, and their DNA is intertwined. And when you're matching this internationally, that's a great way to go. It's a super tip.
And finally, this is a biggie. It's not the protein, it's the prep that makes a difference.
I tend to pair to my sauces rather than the protein themselves.
Let me know what you think about this one. If somebody else is paying, it's a match. I like that one pretty well.
My father, who enjoys wine, I told him I had this $60 Cabernet, and he looked at his glass and he said, well, heck, son, fill it up.
Exactly. So there you have it, my basic pairing principles. Match body with body. Look for wines with bright acidity and relatively lower alcohol. My fave wines, which naturally pair well with food. Remember complement and contrast. Match place with place. And finally, it's not the protein, it's the prep. So enjoy this chapter on pairings and have fun with it, especially if someone else is buying.